Good morning. It is Friday, July 24th, and the trial of Lindsay Clancy isn't going to start today like we originally thought. They're going to do it instead opening statements are going to come Monday the 27th. They have sat a jury though, so they selected 18 people. That's 12 jurors, 6 alternates. And in this situation, the alternates do not know their alternates. So they have not decided who the actual jury who will deliberate will be. So there will be 18 people that hear the entire trial, and then they will decide after all the evidence is submitted and all the testimony is submitted, which 12 go into the room to deliberate. It is made up of 12 women and 6 men. Now, I think many would say on the surface, oh, it's a good thing that there's lots of women on the jury because they could be more sympathetic. But then someone also came into my comments and said, no, women are always out to get other women, so this might not bode well. A couple of videos ago, I talked about the Andrea Yates trial and how her second trial where she was acquitted and she had 6 men, 6 women. And there are 6 men here. So there is a possibility that the deliberating jury could end up being 6 men and 6 women. At this point, we have no way of knowing jurors just based on gender, how they would decide in a case this difficult. For those of you who are just new to this, Lindsay Clancy is a Massachusetts mom who killed her kids. Like, she admits that she strangled her children ages 5, 3, and 8 months. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts wants her convicted on 3 counts of murder and imprisoned for life. Her defense is saying that she was suffering severe postpartum psychosis and that she was wildly medicated. It looks like there was maybe 13 different medications prescribed to her over a 3-month period. We're going to hear testimony that she tried to have herself admitted into different hospitals. She tried to seek help. The sound of it is that she begged for help and couldn't get it. So that is the defense. The prosecution is like, oh, no, 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 no. She's a cold, calculating child killer. Those are the 2 spectrums. Now, they've sent all the jurors home and they will come back on Monday. But today, Friday, they're going to argue some motions that are still left undecided. So there's really 2 that still need to be discussed. One I've talked about in previous videos, Patrick Clancy, who was the husband who made the 911 call. He was the one that found his wife and the children. He is on both witness lists, but it does sound like the prosecution intends to call him right out of the gate, like maybe as the very first witness. His attorneys filed a motion earlier this week, and it's really just to restrict certain evidence. The judge has already ruled that there's a lot of stuff that can come into the evidence and can be talked about and provided to the jurors as evidence in this case. However, what Patrick is asking is, since this is televised, he's asking that some of these things be restricted from the general public. So yes, the jury can see it, and yes, the attorneys and the people in the room can see it, but this should not be stuff that's televised or publicly broadcast. These things include the 911 call. The judges already decide they're going to hear the 911 call, but whether or not we get to hear the 911 call is the decision that needs to be made. And then also there's some photos, and he feels like these photos of his children. There are also some evidence photos, from what I understand, where it's like the children's clothing and some things like that. Now, the defense is arguing that this is all just piling on. Lindsay admits what she did. This is not a trial of did she murder, did she not murder. That's already been decided. She's already said she did. This jury's going to need to hear why. And normally the prosecution does not have to provide a motive. They just don't. That's not the way our legal system works. But a lot of juries kind of need to hear it. And this jury particularly, because they know she did it, they just need to figure out why. Is she sick or is she demonic? Like, which of these things is it? Patrick Clancy, it seems, just wants to have some additional privacy for himself, his family, his children. He doesn't think that this needs to be publicly broadcast. The judge has not ruled on that yet. We don't know if these things are going to be seen publicly or not. The second motion that's still pending is the number of first responders who are going to testify. So the prosecution submitted the names of 18 potential witnesses who were first responders to the scene that day. And the defense is saying this is a little bit over the top. You're going to bring in 18 people who are all going to say the same story. And it really is just, you're inflaming the jury at this point. Like, that's all you're intending to do. Again, we know Lindsay did this, so you don't need 18 people to come in and be like, well, when I got there, it sure did look like she did it. Like, we're not trying to prove she did it. And so they feel like this is, in the words of the defense, this is making it a circus and they're inflaming the jury. The prosecution is arguing there needs to be 18 different people who testify because they each tended to different victims, right? They each tended to each of the kids. And so they might have different stories of what they saw and what they she's going for what they felt, like what emotions they felt, because again, it's trying to convince the jury that this woman is a cold-blooded murderer. So I think that's what she's going for. The defense is like, the facts are the facts, so why are they repeating it over and over again? Then the prosecution said something, and I'm going to show you her quote here in a second. It caused the judge to like stop her mid-sentence. Now, if defense would like us to reduce some of these witnesses, that would mean not talking about one of the children. So if he, Reddington, the defense attorney, would like to tell me which of these children don't matter, and the judge, you can see it on video, the judge goes, whoa, stop, we're not going to do that here. The reason I wanted to show you that exact quote is because I think that this is going to be how this case is tried. I'll do more videos over the weekend since it doesn't start until Monday, but I think that the prosecution is definitely trying for the ugly side of this. Like, let's pull the heartstrings. And I know she's got a job to do, and that's what she's meant to do. She feels like this person murdered her children and did it premeditated, did it maliciously, and she's going for the jugular. I get it. But there's a kind of a cattiness to the way she made that statement that I think is going to end up biting her in the ass. Like if this is going to be emotional for her and she's going to be kind of sarcastic and, dare I say, flippant to the other attorney, I think that's going to hurt her. Like if that's her style, I think that's going to potentially hurt her case. Just my opinion. And I'm only speaking of just one sentence, but for the judge to go, whoa, 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 we're not going to do that. The judge is already sort of recognizing it as well. And I think there's going to be more of that. Defense attorney Kevin Reddington said, and I'm reading from notes, this is an exact quote, "I think it's reprehensible the way the government is trying this case." And that's what he's talking about. They are acting like Charles Manson is sitting at the next table. And maybe in the eyes of Jennifer Sprague, that is what Lindsay Clancy is, that she is this stone cold murderer who did this without any remorse. And so she's going into this as a murder case she has to prove. That's why she wants all this evidence in, is because she wants the jury to see she did it. She did this murder. She did this. And the defense is like, we know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. She'd never denied it. She has completely agreed with all this evidence. Yep, those are the photos. Yes, that's the crime scene. Yes, I did that. So this now just becomes, according to the defense, you're just trying to win a murder case instead of talking about the difference of, was it intentional or was she unable to control herself? Those are the two things we should be debating. And I think Jennifer Sprague kind of keeps going off on this side journey. So we should see how that plays out. This is all just my opinion, but it's my page, so I'm allowed to have it. Keep coming back for more.